Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Aftab Sheikh for the Kiran Academy. Guys, आज के लेक्चर में हम लोग डिस्कस करने वाले फिर से ईबीएस वॉल्यूम को। पिछले लेक्चर में मैंने आपको ईबीएस वॉल्यूम लिनक्स मशीन के साथ यूज करके बताया था। आज ऐसा ही एक ईबीएस वॉल्यूम हम विंडोज के साथ यूज करेंगे। ओके, सो गाइस लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड। सो सब में पहले हम लोग एडब्ल्यूएस में लॉगिन करेंगे और एक विंडोज इंस्टेंस क्रिएट करेंगे। So I'll just open up a new tab over here and log in into AWS. So we'll log in into our account of AWS. Okay. So fine. As we have logged in into AWS, we'll go into one of our regions. आज मैं use करने वाला हूँ Oregon region. So I'll use EC2 in Oregon region. And under EC2, I'll go and click on instances. And I'm going to launch a new instance. तो मैं इसे Windows का instance बना रहा हूँ, ठीक है ना? So I'll call it server 1 and this server is going to run Windows Server 2022 base edition. Okay. And we'll be using T2 Micro as our key pair. Sorry, T2 Micro as the instance type. Okay. But the problem with T2 Micro is going to be like it is going to have one virtual CPU and 1 GB of memory. This is very less for our requirement. So what I'll do is I'll click here, scroll down and I'm going to choose T2 medium. T2 medium is something like जो हमारे Windows operating system को जो भी चाहिए, जो resources चाहिए, RAM, CPU, वो एक appropriate proportion में देगा कि Windows चल सकता है इस पे. So I'm going to use T2 medium as the size of my instance and the key pair name which I'm going to use here is AWS cert. I'll scroll down and RDP connection to this instance is sufficient. We don't need any HTTP or any other thing because website hosting is not our objective. We'll be talking about EBS volume with this Windows instance. Now, in this case, as we can see, we are going to have a 30 gigabytes of general purpose 2 storage. General purpose 2, GP2, okay, GP2 is a kind of storage in where the size describes the performance. These storage can span from 1 G bytes to 16 T bytes. And you can go up to 16,000 IOPS, okay, with this type of storage option. Now, this is going to be a root volume. This is where the operating system is going to be. I'm going to launch the instance with a 30 GB GP2 volume, okay? So guys, this is a Windows instance. Windows instance can take some time to get launched completely. मतलब behind the scenes वहाँ पे backend services होती है जो चल रही होती है. Immediately आप Windows instance को connect नहीं करना, थोड़ा देर wait करना. At least take 5-10 minutes. Okay? हमारे केस में हम 5 minutes wait करने वाले for this Windows machine. So guys, we've waited enough for this Windows instance to get time for its backend services to start up. So I'm going to select this instance and copy the public IP address, and we have to put this into remote desktop app. So here is our remote desktop connection app. We have to paste in this public IP and then click connect. So credentials, we can obtain it from you. After selecting this machine, click on connect button over here and go to RDP client, in where you will find your username as administrator. You have to punch in that name over here, and you have to click get password. And here you have to upload your key pair, like your PEM file, with the help of which you can decrypt your password. Click this upload button, and I'll take you to the keys where I have this PEM file. And finally, if I click decrypt password, my password gets decrypted. Here it is. And finally, like, we can go over here and punch in this password and click yes in order to get connected to your EC2 instance. So even after initiating connection to your instance, again, like, it is going to like require some time to get settled down. Okay. So in this case, like, even if you give it like a minute or two, that will be sufficient. In my case, I'm not going to give it much time because I don't have any kind of backend application as of now running on this virtual machine. So after waiting for some time, we see our desktop, and now we can start using this computer. Now, if I click my start button, यहाँ पे अब अगर मैं right click करूँ, if I right click my start button, तो यहाँ पर मुझे एक option मिलता है disk management. Under disk management, you should be able to see like you only have one hard disk 0. Here we have only one disk called disk 0. We don't have any other disk. Here we have a refresh button. ये rescan button है, ठीक है? Refresh, rescan. By clicking this button, you can scan for any hardware changes or anything. A new hardware is connected. So you can use this refresh button over here, and it will find if new hardware is connected. We don't have anything connected other than disk 0. So fine. Next step is this key. You can cancel out of here. You have to only see in this instance is its availability zone. So जो availability zone हम use कर रहे हैं वो है US West 2C. You have to create a volume if you want to attach the volume to this instance in the same availability zone as the instances. So the availability zone of your instance and your volume has to be same. Okay. So to create volume, यहाँ पे list में we can scroll down नीचे volumes में आएंगे. And here we can create a new volume. And in this case, we can create, you can create GP3. I'm going to stick to GP2. Okay. I'm sticking to GP2 volumes. The size of the volume is going to be like, let's say 5 gigabytes. In your case, you want like 100 GB or 200 GB, you can easily create it. Here you can just specify what size of volume you want to create. And finally, you can select which availability zone do you want to attach this volume. In which availability zone you want to create it. Okay, 2C is the availability zone where are instances. So you have to launch the volume in the same availability zone. Okay. And then finally, if everything looks good, you can create the volume. Okay. So now our volume should have been created. This is the volume 5 GB. And as of now, this volume is not mounted anywhere. Okay. You can right click here and you can you can attach the volume. For now, like the state of the volume, the state is in creating state. Okay. तो आपका जो वॉल्यूम है ना वो अभी क्रिएटिंग स्टेट में, अगर आप रिफ्रेश करो इसको तो ये अवेलेबल स्टेट में हो तो ही आप माउंट कर सकते हो. तभी आप राइट क्लिक करोगे तो अटैच ऑप्शन अवेलेबल होगा. अभी आप अटैच कर सकते हो इस वॉल्यूम को. अभी जब अटैच कर रहे हो इस वॉल्यूम को तो आप अपना इंस्टेंस चूज करो एंड चूज अ लेबल फॉर योर इंस्टेंस. तो कोई भी एक लेबल आप चूज कर सकते हो. VDB is something that I have selected. Okay, attach volume. So we have the volume attached. If we go into our virtual machine over here, we should see disk 1, which we have to bring online. In order to partition it, online करना जरूरी है. After bringing this online, we have to initialize the disk. So disk is going to be initialized via MBR या GPT. दो options available है. MBR मतलब master boot record. With the help of MBR, ठीक है? With the help of MBR, what we can do is like we can create 4 partitions. All of them can be primary partition, or else you can create 3 primary and 1 extended partition. MBR is usually used with hard disk with a maximum limit of 2 terabytes in size. But let's imagine if you have a hard disk more than 2 terabytes in size, MBR will completely be useless. Just imagine आपका 6 टेराबाइट का हार्ड डिस्क है, एमबीआर पहले 2 टेराबाइट को पार्टीशन करेगा, बाकी 4 टेराबाइट आपका अनएलोकेटेड स्पेस होगा, यू कैन नॉट यूज दैट स्पेस। वेल, ऑन द अदर साइड जीपीटी से अगर आपको पार्टीशनिंग करनी है तो आप क्या कर सकते हो, जीपीटी ऑप्शन चूज कर सकते हो। यहाँ पे जीपीटी आपको 128 पार्टीशन बनाने की एबिलिटी प्रोवाइड करता है। तो यहाँ पे लिमिट बहुत बड़ी है, 128 पार्टीशन यू कैन क्रिएट, चाहो तो सब प्राइमरी बना दो। ओके, अच्छा। और जीपीटी बाय द वे, like it can go for hard disk up to 64 terabytes in size as of now, but it has the ability to go beyond 64 terabytes as well. Okay, so guys, mbr stands for master boot record, gpt stands for guid partition table, globally unique identifier, guid का full form होता है। तो जीपीटी इज द बेटर वे। आजकल जितने भी आप लैपटॉप्स खरीदते हो, जो भी आपके सर्वर्स है, सब जीपीटी यूज करते हैं। वेदर यू आर यूजिंग लिनक्स, विंडोज और एनी अदर प्लेटफॉर्म, यू आर यूजिंग जीपीटी फॉर पार्टीशनिंग योर हार्ड डिस्क। ओके, तो एनीवे हम लोग जीपीटी यूज करने वाले, एंड नाउ विल क्लिक ओके। So guys, we have initialized the disk with GPT. After initialization, you have to partition it. You have to right click here and create a new simple volume. वॉल्यूम बनता है पार्टीशंस के ऊपर, ठीक है। तो आप यहाँ से वॉल्यूम बनाओगे, मतलब पहले आपको पूछेगा पार्टीशन के बारे में। तो आपका ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम पूछ रहा है कितना बड़ा पार्टीशन चाहिए, मैं बोल रहा हूँ पूरे साइज का पार्टीशन। ओके, 5102 नेक्स्ट। अभी ये जो पार्टीशन आप बनाने वाले हो, ठीक है, उसको ड्राइव लेटर क्या देना है। ये सारे ड्राइव ऑप्शन से सी नहीं दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, क्योंकि सी ऑलरेडी हमारे ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम को दिया गया है। आप यहाँ पे जो भी चाहिए, एस वगैरह जो भी चाहिए आप यूज कर सकते हो। मैंने एस पार्टीशन चूज किया। अभी इसको डेटा वगैरह जो भी नाम देना है आप दे सकते हो। ओके, एंड देन नेक्स्ट एंड देन फाइनली फिनिश। सो गाइज, ये हमने एक नया पार्टीशन बना लिया जिसके ऊपर एक पूरा वॉल्यूम है, और इस पार्टीशन का जो ड्राइव लेबल है वो एस था। थोड़ी देर में ड्राइव लेबल दिख जाएगा, अगर आपको नहीं दिख रहा है तो आप एक बार रिफ्रेश कर लेना। तो ये थोड़ी देर में देखो ये एस दिख जाता है। माई कंप्यूटर अगर लॉन्च करूंगे तो आपके पास एस पार्टीशन दिखने वाला है आपको। सो हियर इन माई कंप्यूटर, ओके, अगर आप दिस पीसी पे जाते हो तो एस पार्टीशन यहाँ पे अवेलेबल है। सो गाइस, दिस इज हाउ सिंपल, लाइक यू कैन क्रिएट अ EBS volumes, and you can attach it to a instance, and inside instance if it is Windows, this is how simple with Windows you can partition and format the volume. Okay, ये हमने NTFS से पार्टीशन किया है, आप यहाँ पे फाइल वगैरह जो भी रखना है रख सकते हैं। ये जो वॉल्यूम्स होते हैं ये एक्सपैंडेबल होते हैं, रिमेंबर दिस। ये 5 GB के वॉल्यूम के साइज को आप एक्सटेंड कर सकते हो। यू कैन राइट क्लिक हियर and you can extend the size of volume. Here you have an option to modify the volume, and remember the number that you are going to provide should be an integer. ये डेसिमल पॉइंट नहीं आना चाहिए इसके अंदर। ओके, इंटीजर होना चाहिए, एंड द साइज शुड बी लार्जर देन द करंट नंबर। यू कैन नॉट रिड्यूस इट। अगर मैं 4 GB बोलूँ ना तो ये एरर दे देता है। ये सिंपली आपको कह रहा है कि बेसिकली द वॉल्यूम, द साइज ऑफ वॉल्यूम कैन ओनली बी इंक्रीज नॉट डिक्रीज्ड। ओके, तो 4 GB is like decreasing the size of volume. Okay, so I'm going to make it like, let's say 7 GB. Okay, and then modify. So once you modify this, your new size should reflect here in some time. Do a refresh, it will reflect here 7 GB. And inside your virtual machine, if you go to disk management, initially the size is 5 GB only. Just do a refresh here, rescan karo, and the new size will be like 7 GB, 6.98 GB, that is 7 GB. इस पार्टीशन को आप राइट क्लिक करके एक्सपैंड कर सकते हो। Next, we want to add this 2048 MB into our current volume, and next and then finish. तो ये पूरा extend हो गया, और जो हमारा volume earlier was just of like let's say 5 GB, अभी 6.95 GB का था। So guys, this is how like you work with EBS volumes. It's very simple. Okay. अभी EBS volume की एक कुछ important चीजें हैं जो मैं बताना चाहता हूँ आपको। पहली बात तो ये है, जो EBS volume होते हैं आपके, ओके, EBS volumes कभी भी एक्सपैंड होते हैं, ठीक है। वो श्रिंक नहीं हो सकते, उनके साइज को घटा नहीं सकते आप बढ़ा सकते हो साइज को। ईबीएस वॉल्यूम ब्लॉक टेक्नोलॉजी पे बेस्ड होते हैं, मतलब इन वॉल्यूम्स को आप एक ही मशीन पे माउंट कर सकते हो, अटैच कर सकते हो। इन्हें अगर आप दूसरी मशीन पे अटैच करना चाहते हो तो कर नहीं पाओगे। ठीक है, तो ये वॉल्यूम्स एक ही मशीन पे अटैच होंगे। और एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज, इन वॉल्यूम्स के जो टाइप्स हैं, जैसे कि जनरल पर्पस वॉल्यूम, प्रोविजन डायोप्स, थ्रूपुट ऑप्टिमाइज्ड वॉल्यूम, या फिर कोल्ड वॉल्यूम, या फिर मैग्नेटिक वॉल्यूम, ये जो भी 5 टाइप्स है इन वॉल्यूम्स के, इनमें से जनरल पर्पस और प्रोविजन डायोप्स ये एसएसडी वाली टेक्नोलॉजी पे बेस्ड है। वेयर एज ऑन द अदर साइड, आपके जो बाकी के वॉल्यूम्स है वो ट्रेडिशनल जो हार्ड डिस्क होती थी, मैकेनिकल डिस्क, उस टेक्नोलॉजी का बेस्ड स्टोरेज ऑप्शन है। अभी अगर आपको आईऑप्स, बेटर आईऑप्स चाहिए, अच्छे आईऑप्स चाहिए, तो थ्रूपुट ऑप्टिमाइज्ड और कोल्ड वॉल्यूम आर नॉट सुटेबल फॉर योर रिक्वायरमेंट। You get good number of IOPS with general purpose. You can go up to 16,000 IOPS with general purpose GP2 volumes. ठीक है? Similarly, like you can go to a much higher level of IOPS. ठीक है? With IO1 volume. IO1 basically can go up to 64,000 IOPS. And the highest you can go with IO2 with a maximum of 256,000 IOPS. So guys, depending upon like what is your requirement, you can choose the volume. If you have an average database server, I'll suggest you go for IO1 volume. If you have a very massive database server in where like thousands of users are going to use your application, which requires to read or write data via SQL queries to your database, so basically IO2 is the best option for your storage, for your database server. So remember, like it totally depends upon what is your use case. Depending upon the use case and the pattern in which your application is going to access your storage, or the storage, like how much like read write operations are going to be performed on it, either by users or the application, will determine like which type of storage option should be best for you. Most of the time we use general purpose. Most of the time we use general purpose. We don't have to go for any other type of volume other than general purpose volume. Okay. So guys, this was all about EBS volumes. I hope like you found this information very useful. One thing like you have to do once you are done with this practical, once you are done with this, go to your instance and finally terminate your instance once you are done with this. You can very quickly terminate this instance after completing this. And after some time, okay, when this instance shows up as terminated instance, you will find under volumes, one of this volume, this 30 GB volume which contained our Windows operating system, should be wiped away from you. If I do a refresh, that instance is being terminated at this point in time. With the instance, the root volume is also terminated. Okay. So after some time, if we do a refresh, we should find that 30 GB volume is no more available to us. And finally, this 7 GB volume should also be in available state over here. Okay. Like just now we deleted that instance because of which this got like disconnected from it. And if you don't want this, you have to manually delete it. So right click and just go to the option delete volume and mention delete over here in this text area. Once done, you can click delete button and the volume gets deleted. So remember, if you want to save your cost, if it is not your enterprise account, it is your personal account, I'll recommend once your practicals are done, delete everything that you had created in the practical. This way you can learn AWS at a very cheaper cost. Anyway, guys, in the next lectures, we'll be talking about some advanced storage options that are provided by AWS. I hope this lecture was very useful to you. If you have any suggestions or if you want a specific topic to be covered, please mention in the comment area to us. We'll try our level best to bring the topic as soon as possible to you as we can. So guys, if you have any feedbacks, you can please mention it in the comment area as well. Thank you for watching. Good day. Goodbye.